Master would have written about this.
I'm afraid I can't really help you beyond what I've said. Maybe your master knows more.
I'll ask Master myself.
Take it you know the way.
She nods. Though...
For what it's worth, I can't arrest you. We don't have a prison to hold you in. He says with a grin. He says with a half grin.
She doesn't seem to react. She just has a bit of a cold stare back at him.
Sorry, probably not the best time for jokes.
Especially Zatham.
Well, if you'll excuse me, feel free to take a look around the town. And I'm sorry, Saye. I wish you could have come back to a better situation.
She just steps out of the way and lets him go.
Before we go...
Oh, yes?
Before we go to the place, there is one more stop.
And her voice does kind of... It starts breaking up a little bit, but then just goes back to normal.
Look.
I presume you want to see the graves.
She nods and motions to Sarika.
I know that you know where this is. Both you and Master have been there before. I want to know. I want you to show me where this is. I want to see this with my own eyes.
And Sarika just doesn't respond for a moment, looking at her a bit curiously, but then gets off and starts to show the way.
Alright.
She nodded away.
So I'm assuming OC would have to take control at this one, or?
Yeah, I told him.
Hold on a second. I'm moving you people.
Oh, you're just moving us all up.
Yes.
Where did we go?
I'll be revealing you. I'll be revealing you in a second.
Okay.
And first, we'll move the camera over.
Nope, gotta do it again.
No, I know. It's still black.
You're not moving the camera though. As in the camera snapped back. There you go.
Okay.
And she's a slightly different color. It's not quite so. And these two are the ones in question. As you arrive to the cemetery, which is pretty, it's not quite secret in a way, but it's not easy to find either. You're taken to almost what appears to be something of a glade. And it almost has this slightly dreamlike feel to it as you step into it. It appears that very little care has been taken care of this cemetery. You don't see any direct signs of vandalism, and the gates that once barred the entrance seem to have fallen down from age than from any deliberate acts of destruction of property. Nevertheless, as you step in, it is a very quiet place. And it feels sort of desolate and lonely. And scrawled on various headstones of various ages are various names you don't recognize. However, on the far tombstones across the way, the two that are somewhat close to each other, you recognize... Well, you at least recognize one of the names on the tombstone.
Is this it? Seneca, is this it?
Seneca just gets out of the way. As Saye approaches it.
One hot second.
Also, is the grave currently broken in any way?
Give me a hot second. I'm actually going to replace those gravestones real quick. There we go. Simply because I think this looks a little bit better. There we go. Okay. They're weather-worn, but not defiled. You can still read. You can still read the names that are on there, but no one has attempted to deface them.
You did catch that the graves are made of ice, right?
There aren't really. Roll20 doesn't exactly have ice graves.
Well, audience at home, they're made of ice.
That's weird. But I guess it kind of makes sense.
Saye puts a hoof on both of them and kind of starts to regenerate them in a way so that the ice is in a more refined form.
They're cold to the touch.
She's used to that. But as she does that, she takes a look at the names on there.
One name, very simply. One name is Zephyr. Zephyr. There we go. Zephyr?
Yeah, Zephyr.
Zephyr, and the other one's is Satin.
Zephyr.
And beneath both of them is the common surname of Sleetstag.
Which, after she finishes repairing the graves, she places a hoof on the name Sleetstag and pauses for a moment.
No, I can't.
She just removes it.
I don't want to erase that name.
What? Say, what are you doing?
Oh, fine.
Yes.
Listen to me carefully.
Then she starts to hesitate with her words again.
Just please treasure every day you have with your father. I can't even remember their names.
No.
Zaten. Zephyr. Even Zleetstag. I even forgot that. You've used so many aliases. I forgot my own name.
It's okay. I'm here.
This is. This is how important I see your relationship to your father. Giving you that chance that I never had. That I forfeited. I need to talk to him. She just places a hoof around Corvine. Please. This is where I might need the most help. I don't know how to face him.
What does Corvine do?
She nodded.
Very good.
Where do we need to go?
The monastery is a bit outside of town. So, just a bit more of a walk.
Then, if you're done mourning, then let's go.
The dead, usually I don't bother mourning them, but there are these spots. I don't know why. But they show me that I still should. He starts trotting away, circa on top.
Alright.
Then Corvin will follow.
So you're heading to the monastery then?
Yep.
Alright. I'm moving you, Corvine. Alright. Let me this. Ooh, that's a little too much. Alright. Just making a couple of adjustments to your guys' positions real quick. Yeah, that's good. There we go. That'll do. Alright, and then
That's
snap
the big.
camera. Then areas. Did the camera snap midnight?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. And as you approach, you come across a completely snow-coated, crumbling ruin of what's... This is not the monastery that you remember. This is almost a massive stone fortress, which is not the building you recall, but this is definitely where the monastery once was. Nevertheless, what you're staring at was a building of former glory that is now clearly ruins.
And this is where the monastery is supposed to be?
Yes.
No. She is going to start galloping, leaping.
Saye, wait. Corvine's gonna fly over to follow her.
How? How? No, this...
Climbs up here to try to get a better view.
You see up above, there appears to be a further platform that goes up.
Thanks, OC.
You're welcome.
What, you think we're at the top?
Absolutely not.
And as you reach the top, roll 20, please. Well, take number roll 20. All right. And as you reach the top, you see your master sitting there in a stance of meditation on top of the snow, with his back towards you and facing out towards the ocean. He does not seem aware of your presence, but Saye, you know better. He knows you're there. But there's no immediate reaction to your presence, as it were.
She immediately freaks out at the sight of his wool and just stops in place.
Saye, are you okay? You're panicking.
Is that...
And then she slowly starts approaching.
What happened?
Welcome home, so.
Master, what... There's ruins everywhere. I run away. And there's the first thing you say... I guess... that does make sense. Look, just... what happened to this place?
What happened to you?
What happened? I... You're not talking about now, are you? It's always like this. Back then, I adapted. I saw that nothing was going on, and something had to be done to get rid of the crime in China.
So you grew colder than the stones that now surround us.
Is that how you see me? You also.
Saye, I've missed you.
Wait. You're not mad. That I ran away. The middle of the night. No warning whatsoever.
He turns around and sort of takes a thoughtful pose. If you're a human, he sort of like crosses arms behind his back and clasps his hands in each other. You chose your path. You chose the path that you felt was the best for you to take. And I cried that night when you left. I cried because I'd be lonely without you. I cried because I was afraid of what you would become. But I cried mostly because I cared about you. I was upset, yes. But you know how my training is. Once I thought things over, I figured you'd come back someday when you were ready. And if you didn't, I'd have to make peace with that fact. But you came back. You came back to a place that seems as cold and as desolate as your heart. Or at least the heart you wish for others to see. But you came back home. And no, I am no longer upset. I am simply joyous to see that you are alive.
Mr. A.
This place like this.
What did he say? Sorry, I think he cut out.
It must break your heart to see this place like this.
I saw my room. It's in shambles. I saw everything gone. My entire home. It's crumbled to dust.
Come, sit by me. You too, miss.
Saye does go over there and sits down as if she were going to meditate as well. As if by second nature or something.
Corfine just sits down regularly.
After you left, we upgraded. Or I should say changed. More students had come. The town had grown a bit more than expected. And so the town decided that the monastery should be a place to teach them the way, as well as a lookout for piracy and whatnot. So the monastery has changed from its isolated halls of learning to essentially a fortress to act as home and defense.
Wait, and you actually approved of this? This doesn't sound right.
If I could go back and convince myself to do otherwise, I would have. But not even I have infinite wisdom. The wise are more fool they realize they.
I think he cut out again.
Yeah.
The more wise one becomes, the more of a fool they realize they are. Adage, I'll admit, but if you look important lesson to learn. Anyways, so I agreed. And before I knew it, suddenly the town decided to turn this into a landmark, the crowning jewel of Chime. It was no longer a quiet place of learning and study, but a grand symbol that Chime was the reign of this side of the continent. Once the town shut down, suddenly there wasn't any support for the students here. Many either went back or left. And it's just me and one other student. He's out now, doing exercises. And while we were gone, they ransacked the place. Pirates and marauders.
Wait, the ransack. Did they take? Is that one? Is that one book you had? Please tell me you have it still.
Your enemy possesses that book.
Wait.
You already know.
Why am I not shocked that you already know? That's what I asked you time and time again not to do that.
What else do you already know?
He holds out his two hooves. Please, put your hooves into mine.
And Saye does so.
Gorlan does so as well, if that was the idea.
I know that you wish to see your home as it was. I thought the world suddenly goes violently dark, and you feel yourselves being hurled through almost some sort of strange abyss. And when you open your eyes, you find yourselves in a different place. When you come to your senses, you realize, Saye, that you are now looking at your old home as it was shortly after you left.
Jesus. What? How? What? Wait.
My memories.
Are you magical?
This is meditation. This is what her home looked like, young miss. As you can see, there were several students here, studying, learning. They came from all walks. Many, as you can see, were reindeer, which is to be expected. But not all of them. It was in this place that Saye grew. I became something of a surrogate father. More master than father at times. It was from this place that she fled, anticipating a harsh and violent welcome to her when she came back. But instead, this is the greetings I give you, Saye. Not a cold, stone, abandoned fortress, but a warm memory of times past.
Can I see my room?
Come again?
Can I see my room?
I will show you more than that. Just as I gave you the gift of seeing a time past when you knew happiness, I shall show you a time when your happiness was taken away from you.
Wait.
Just
Please tell me. No, please tell me you don't mean that.
please don't.
She's starting to panic a little. Master, please. I don't know if I'm ready to go and see that.
You are hurled through the abyss yet again. And one second. Doing something I forgot to do. Okay.
I put the translucent characters in.
Yeah, and I forgot to assign a proper control. And once you come to your senses again, you find yourself in the same park many years ago. There are reindeer out and going about their business. One of the few alpaca that lived in the town, she was also out enjoying the fine weather. It was a cold day, but it was a nice day, certainly. And just up above, you see, well, yourself as a tiny fawn with your two parents on a bench enjoying a lovely day at the park.
And for some reason, does cloak.
Look, I don't have, I don't have your sprite without the cloak, so,
I don't have a sprite without the cloak.
so, use your imagination. Anyways, point is, and it's very much a nice, calm day. As Pepper turns towards Saye, it is as you feared.
Why? Why are you showing me this?
No,
Because you need to finally come to grips with the demons that are inside of you.
I don't want to see this either. Please don't make me see this.
The ground beneath where the area that fused the snow was suddenly begins to melt, and the various onlookers look over in curiosity as a strange humming noise begins to fill the air. And then quite suddenly the ground gives way, and beneath it the two of you see a very, very familiar looking dark pit. And from that dark pit erupts a large serpent made of shadow. Say, your antlers grow absolutely furious upon seeing this. And Corvine, you immediately recognize this viper. It is the viper that's inside of Oystein. It lunges out from the darkness, thrashing about. The poor alpaca near it is immediately devoured and sucked into the pit. Before there's much reaction, it lashes about furiously, devouring each person nearby.
No.
Before spitting them out.
No.
And it finally comes over here to the bench. And it lunges for Saye, and with a scream, both your parents jump forward and are destroyed by the serpent.
No! No!
She just stops as she realizes what's going on.
Corvin
serpent.
getting progressively more upset, and she's actually starting to lose control.
The serpent thrashes about violently and turns towards the very confused and scared and terrified Saye. And rather than lashing out at it with its mouth, it lashes out at her with its tail, damaging and scarring, ripping the horns off of her head and scarring her head terribly. Then as it proceeds to lunge forward, the dark pit behind it glows violently as it suddenly is sucked back into the pit and vanishes.
Corvine turns back to Pepper in shaking, and her eyes are crying in red. Why did you show us this?
After several moments, help finally shows up. As several members of the town guard come rushing over, and oopsies. Here we are. And a younger Pepper steps out and looks around, sees the young Saye, and approaches her and begins to console her. You then see from her head shadowy dark tendrils begin weeding their way across her skull and into her fur, and her eyes begin dilating and undilating violently. She begins to convulse. Pepper, with a shocked look on his face, looks around in desperation, grabs some ice, and attempts to put it over the wound to stop it. He begins to chant several mantras as the ice fuses into her head and into the wounds, and the shadowy tendrils that began to thrust themselves into her body are violently ripped into the antlers and stay there. He then holds the child for several moments as she weeps. Then finally she falls asleep, and Pepper carries her off towards the monastery.
Is that...
As the vision ends and you guys come to yourselves yet again.
Also, the area around us is black.
Yeah, I know. I'm fixing that.
So what happened? So we came to.
Yes, you came to, and you find yourselves back to where you were, standing in the empty ruins of the former fortress.
Corvine's eyes are still red.
And Serica can be seen trying to calm Saye down, but seems to be failing for once. And Saye is going into a bit of a panicky meltdown of sorts, with her antlers sparking quite a bit. Wait, what? Is that...
Pepper holds out a hoof and gently puts it on her head. Peace of mind brings peace in your soul.
Peace of mind, peace to soul, peace of mind, peace to soul, peace of mind.
Peace in your mind
Peace of mind,
brings peace in your soul.
brings peace in the soul.
She starts calming down as she starts trying to meditate a bit. And the sparks calm down as well.
He turns towards Corvine. You may sheathe your fangs.
Sheathe my thing. Oh, she looks kind of awkwardly at him.
And she
You.
said, what you are does not bother me.
She tries to calm herself, but the red doesn't fade very quickly. So
It seems the
Saye
sight of
actually stands up and, kind of realizing Corvine had a reaction as well, goes to hug her.
Corvine hugs back. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I knew, but seeing it in person is entirely different.
I never remember half of this. I never wanted to remember half of that. But
knowing the truth.
She turns over to Pepper.
Master,
Yes.
you made these ice.
I had to.
What was it that made you do that?
Compassion.
But I didn't go without antlers. I don't understand why. Wait. What? What was it that attacked me? What was it exactly? Do you know?
I don't know exactly, but I have an idea. I believe under Chime there's an ancient structure. And I believe inside this ancient structure was an ancient entity. This ancient entity was set free somehow. And when it had reigned its destruction, it had been called away. It was not there afterwards. Nor is it there now.
I think we know where it is.
We do.
You do?
You said it looked like Oystein, right?
Correct. The serpent that you saw come out of Oystein.
I don't think we saw a serpent come out of Oystein, but okay.
In the first fight, you saw him turn serpentine.
Okay. I always assumed it was like a centipede, because it had so many arms.
Nope. Serpentine.
Okay. It looked like Oystein's true form.
Her hug gets a bit tighter.
From the beginning, Einstein.
And then she calms down and she starts repeating everything again.
Okay.
Now, Pepper.
Oh. So that's why your antlers were so interesting. A voice echoes as a spectral form of the goat appears not far from you.
So shockingly lets go.
He looks...
You know, I think we had a deal.
Oh, I've not come to cause any harm.
That
I'm
wasn't what
simply-
our deal was. It was not to see you again.
Oh, you're only seeing a projection of me, don't worry.
Ha. Ha.
No, I came because there was something about your antlers that caught my interest so thoroughly. And now I see what it was. Everywhere you have essence of serpent inside your head.
Essence of serpent?
Yes. You should break your antlers someday. That way it can infuse itself with you. You'd make a great predator if you did. Well, a predator hybrid, but you'd be fabulous at it.
Over my dead body. Get your form out of here.
Yes, I believe it's time for you to leave. Very well. Just simply wanted to tell you what it was that I had on my mind. My apologies for interrupting. And with a bow that may be sincere, mocking, the form vanishes.
Hold on. Clearly, this is important. Was it sincere or mocking?
A little both. It was
A little of both.
Yeah, essentially it was like he was like bowing to you both out of respect of what you are, but mocking who you are.
So, Master, did you know this? This whole time?
I did not. I knew you had something inside of you that, if left unchecked, would change you somehow. So I entrapped it in your antlers.
So
But I didn't know
this
exactly
is-
what it was.
This is how Oystein found out. This is how he made the hybrids. He ran into this. He's trying to make more like himself.
But why?
Yeah.
She went back to Corvine for another hug, and she just said,
It started with me. I'm going to end it. I'm gonna make sure this never happens again.
Don't blame yourself. You were just a child. It's not your fault.
I am a part of the very thing I have been hunting.
Will you hunt yourself then?
she lowers her head.
I don't know.
If you allow your heart and mind to grow as cold as this shell of a fortress, you shall become the very thing you seek to destroy.
I won't allow it.
The only one that can control this is Saye herself.
That's not true. She has friends.
Much like you, he points to Corvine, you had to make a choice, did you not? Saye now stands at the same crossroads. A creature that was thrust upon her unjustly, and become a creature of injustice herself. Or should become the antithesis of that which she hunts. That which you, he points to Corvine, have become.
So, did it mean that I became the antithesis, or that I am what she hunts?
In that you had a choice to become a predator, or a predator or not predator, and you chose not predator.
Okay.
That's more of what he's alluding to.
Okay.
That said, Saye, never was one for physical affection, but he reaches out a hoof and places it on her shoulder.
Which she extends her one of her hooves that were around Corvine to around him.
Pull on for hug. Come on, Tom.
Your path is yours. Your path is yours to choose, Saye.
I'm sorry.
There's no need to apologize. It's not your fault that what happened to this town happened. Do not let the actions of others burden your heart. Do not let their evil deeds dictate your choices. For if you do, you've allowed them to dictate you.
Well,
This was a choice I already made. But now, it's a choice I'm seeing to the end.
Very well. In that case, he just takes a step to the side. You know your path before you, and you should take it.
She nods and shakily gets back up. Zerka getting on her, but still consoling her from behind.
Pepper is simply looking.
This might be the last time we see each other.
Pepper is currently looking out over the shoreline, not making eye contact. He simply nods slightly.
that's not necessarily true.
She looks over to Corvine with actually a tear in her eye.
The lifetime of an alpaca is much shorter than the lifetime of a reindeer.
Oh,
Consider when Master, consider when Master found me. I was only, what, 7?
Old enough for an adult by my people's counting.
As the next time I come back, if that should happen, I don't think he will be here as well.
I'm sorry I said anything then.
No.
One more time,
No, don't be, please. Don't be. But, Master, just
Yes.
one thing.
What is it?
Just once, I wanted to call you Father.
Saye, I've always loved you as my daughter. I've always seen you as such.
She goes to hug him once more, clearly crying at this point.
Yes. Father.
My dear beloved daughter. He embraces her as best as he can. And sheds a few tears himself. Remember always that little fawn you once were. Remember that wherever you go, I will always love you.
There is no doubt. No doubt at all. After a while, she does let go and wipes the tears away. How long was the ship supposed to wait for us?
Oh, see, you broke up.
Yeah, I'm having connection issues. Second. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, could you say that one more time again, Saye?
She was asking Corvine, actually, how long the boat was going to wait for them.
If you're speaking Corbin, we can't hear you.
No, I'm not speaking.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know how long the ship's supposed to wait for us.
Long enough.
I'm sure it's not due for long enough for you to wrap things up here. In fact, if you want, I could stall them.
Well, that is one more thing I wanted to do, and it is on the way back.
Cannot. Actually, once we get towards rain, there's one thing that I wanted to do too.
Wait. Okay.
With that, will you guys be heading back?
Yes, she bows to her father and heads down the stairs, and then the next stairs, and then the next stairs.
Yeah. So as Corvine leaves, she's gonna hold out a hoof. So yeah, it's been a pleasure to meet you, Pepper. I'll always remember you.
He gives her a respectful bow of his head. He doesn't say much, but that bow is very clearly a sincere likewise.
Okay.
And as you walk away, you see him return to his stance of meditation that you found him in when you arrived. And what was you guys wanted to do on the way back?
I'm wondering what Midnight wanted to do.
You know what? I should save mine for last.
Okay. Is it in rain or out of rain?
It's either.
No. Because what I wanted to do is see Tanya. Because, you know.
You can handle that in your own solo session. This is Saye's solo session. I mean, I'm okay with you seeing Tonya. Just this is a midnight
Okay.
session.
That's
Then,
true. No, you just want to wrap up right now.
on the boat, on the trip back, Saye looks over to Corvine.
Yes?
I'm sorry
You're sorry.
for everything. From beginning to end.
Don't be.
No. From the moment I shot an arrow to everything I have said. I feel terrible. You have no idea. I haven't felt that terrible about anything in a very long time.
She hugs her. It's alright. It's kind of the reaction I expected out of everyone.
No.
And you have a lot of reason to react the way you did.
But you don't deserve that. Nobody does. And I was blind to that. I've been blind to that for years.
Well, if it means much, I forgive you. Just don't beat yourself up so badly about that.
Come on. No. This isn't beating myself up. Yes, I regret it, but is like after everything so far, there's something else. I don't know what.
Something else?
And she suddenly flinches as Zerika can be clearly seen underneath her cape, just hitting her. 0.1 points of bludgeoning damage.
I guess my opinion of you has taken a full 180. You've even taken time to try and change what you do. To help others as well. I'm sorry, this is difficult for me.
You can take your time.
Well, if I took my time, I'd be taking all day. Listen, Carvine. When I'm around you, I don't get this feeling of wanting to kill you at all anymore. No, is this is a strange feeling. It's a light feeling. Like flu. Listen. Carvine. I guess I'll get to the point. I think over the time we have known each other, I've started developing feelings for you, but I don't know how.
Feelings?
I shrugged it off as Blake can't have feeling for Predator, but what happened at the monastery opened my eyes. There is no difference. That even your mother and father, there is no kind of boundary like that. But even then, I still questioned it.
Saye, what are you trying to say?
She turns away from her with her head low, but a bit of a softer voice.
I guess I'm trying to say that I love you, Papa. I don't.
She immediately ran to the other side. If they were on port, she ran to the starboard side of the ship and looked into the water.
How is this? How is this so difficult?
Saye?
She turns around and looks at Corbin.
Are you sure?
She holds a hoof onto one of her antlers and says, "To the point where I would snap this off to protect you. Because someone like you, with all the chances in the world like you have,
does not deserve to die. Someone so wonderful, so caring. I've seen all the money that you have given. But you could have used it for yourself. The selflessness. So much compassion that I couldn't have. I failed to accomplish. That
She lowers her hoof.
yes.
But what about the fact that I'm a predator?
And the fact that I could become one any moment now.
But
I decided this before I knew this fact.
okay. If you're really sure, then maybe.
Hey. Maybe as in what?
She nods. I'll give it a shot. To be honest, I do really like you, Saye.
Saye genuinely smiles and trots back over to Corvine.
I thank you, Carvine, for everything.
You too.
And do we end the session with a kiss? No.
They just started the relationship. They're not going to go there yet.
You know, that's what I was thinking too.
All right, then I guess we'll go ahead and call session there then.